So I'm just going to give you a quick tour of kind of what you're going to be looking at when you create an event, just to kind of let you be informed when you're on a call. So anytime you want to begin or set up a recording or any of that good stuff, you're going to go ahead and hit Add New Event. And this is where you're going to go ahead and create the name of your event, which typically, like if you're doing it with like your one-on-one session, you'll just put, the person's name and then 90-minute session, and that way I can get their recording to them and I know whose recording it is. And then obviously you put the date of the event. So I can actually create these for you. If you forward me the time trade links of people who booked, because you should be getting confirmation links when that happens, like when they book an appointment. So I can create the events for you based on that. So let's just say it's Melissa Hoffman who has booked a time with you, and she is scheduling to meet with you today at 2:16. And so because these calls are going to be, these ones are 90 minutes. So something that, like, just a rule of thumb that I use to do the duration of the event is I always select 30 minutes over the amount of time that I'm actually talking on the call. That way it doesn't cut you off, because part of Instant Teleseminar is if you set it to only record for 60 minutes or hold the event for 60 minutes, you can't go over at all. So I always set it for 30 minutes over just to have that leg room just in case. Again, like this is the start time, this is the what the actual like date of the event would be. The duration is what we just talked about, setting it 30 minutes over. So if you're doing 90-minute calls, I would set it to 2 hours. The web number system, you just leave it on the 20 built person. You're probably not going to have more than that for a while for your mentorship lab. And then on select listening method, I just use phone, including Skype and webcast. That way they can listen to it on the internet, like say you're having a group call. Or they can do it over the phone as well. Publishing method, just leave it as modern, and then all of this, like, don't worry about that. And then you'll just hit next. Oops, I need to pick the amount of time. 2 hours. So then you'll just hit next and it'll create the event for you. So the information that your guests or the people dialing into the conference line will get will actually be this phone number and then this PIN. This is the PIN that they get, like when they sign up for an appointment with you, they get the actual instructions to call you at that number and enter that PIN. So you're the host. So the one that you're going to be using is the same dial-in number, but you're actually going to use this host PIN, which allows you to have control over the call, like recording. If you're in like a group Q&A session, you can set to like mute people or help them, like people raise their hands, and I'll get to that part in a minute. But that's going to be the host pin that you dial in with. And I think 425 is Bay Area friendly, but I'm assuming you probably have free long distance. So yeah, so that's like the basics of the event. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the back end. This is just kind of like the little back end details of it. So one of the things that you can go back and do is obviously like change the events. You can use slides, which I'm not sure if you'll be doing that during your Q&A calls, but if you do, like I'll do all the uploading for you, so you don't need to worry about that. The thing I want to go over with you is the control panel. This is going to be during your actual event. This is what you'll be doing to kind of see like who's on the call, like during your group calls, because maybe not everyone's made it, but that way you can see people who have raised their hand, which is for this column right here. It shows, it doesn't usually show their name, but sometimes it will. And then you can show like who needs to be muted, because sometimes like people have background noise. And then you can also set the call up for what kind of mode you want it. So interactive, which means everyone can talk. Guests can mute themselves. Lecture, which is obviously where you are speaking and everyone raises their hand to speak, which is *2, and that's where you'll see on here where you can see people raising their hand. The Q&A is where all guests are muted, and then the party is all guests can talk. There's no host required. This is just like the basic backend panel, and also where you hit record, which I can't seem to find right now, so let me find that for you really quick. It might be event recordings. Nope. there should be a record button on the control panel when you actually start the call that lets you choose to begin the recording in that control panel. So I'll go ahead and delete this one and I'll make the other events, but that's pretty much the only things you need to know for Teleseminar. It's pretty easy. If you have any questions, just let me know.